I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is News and Week in Review, where I go over a variety of news pieces, upcoming games, news, all that kind of thing, the videos of the week, the games of the week, all of that and more, links and timestamps to everything down below. Let's go ahead and start off with the news. We have a bunch of new game stuff to talk about over here, some of which is already a little old because last week I missed the Week in Review, unfortunately, and so I have some of the things from like post-Essen already catching up over here. To start off with, we have Netflix has a Squid, well, I guess Zombicide or Asmodee, let's fix it back. Asmodee, who now owns Zombicide, has a Squid game Netflix coming out. This coming out is a new Squid game coming out, new Zombicide coming out. This is Zombicide's second edition model, but it's basically a Squid game. Sort of intrigued, but not that intrigued because, I mean, I honestly think the art looks good, but I didn't care for Zombicide 2nd Edition, so anything built on that framework has me less interested. But nonetheless, I mean, maybe I'll play it. We'll see. Like, Army of the Dead was actually pretty good. Army of the Dead Zombicide was very good. I like that one a lot. The only problem is I have so much Zombicide, I don't necessarily have the patience for like a one-of when I can have a whole, like, all the stuff with cool abominations and all those things, zombie heroes, whichever version you're playing. Then we have Tiny Epic Invincible, coming to you from Gamelin Games, or I guess coming to you from Tycoon Games, who bought Gamelin Games. We have Tiny Epic now. Basically, Tiny Epic is Tiny Epic Invincible. So we have the new Tiny Epic continuing their branch off into IPs, which they started with Tiny Epic Game of Thrones, and now they have Tiny Epic Invincible coming to crowdfunding. Then we have a new Arkham Horror core set. The next chapter of Arkham Horror continues. This is meant to be as either a continuation or starting off point for new players, picking up where the events of the last one left off. It's basically meant to be an opportunity for players to jump in without feeling the need to get everything, which honestly has me interested as somebody who always appreciated Arkham Horror, but leans more into Marvel Champions. This has me just tempted enough to try to dive into it. We shall see. Then we have over here, we have Tigris and Euphrates getting a new version. This actually timed out nicely with a video I put out this week. I was doing a video on things and I mentioned like, oh, if Tigris and Euphrates ever comes out with the deluxe edition, I'll get that. And now they are coming out with a deluxe edition. Although to be clear, if it's just an art refresh, I may not pick this one up. But if it does feel like an actual deluxe edition, once we see all the components coming to you from 20th Century Games, then I probably will pick it up because I really like Tigris and Euphrates. And I said specifically that if you give me an excuse, I will get it. Anyways, from there we have over here, we have more tag team is coming your way. This is actually something I actually found out while I was at Essen, because I kind of asked them, I was like, hey, I assume more tag team is coming. And they're like, yeah, more tag team is coming. So, sure enough, over here, I guess they had the same conversation over here. They have more, basically, Eric Martin, who was also at Essen, probably had the same conversation with them, asking about more tag team, and they have more tag team plans coming. So if you enjoy tag team, first of all, you can check it out on Board Game Arena if you haven't already, but also more of it is coming your way. And then in less new game stuff, but in more news things, we have two things about some campaigns. We have Altered, and this actually kind of needs an update, this article. It's a little out of date already. But Altered basically they have a crowdfunding campaign right now on GameFound, and that crowdfunding campaign raised like 500,000 euro or whatnot, and they kind of said, hey, by the way, we really need 2.5 million euro, otherwise Altered can't survive, and that produced a whole lot of backlash, not least because there's a $50,000 goal on the project, but also because that's a big gap, and they're saying, hey, we need 2.5 million for every set. They then released further information updates saying, hey, that 2.5 million is like the full total, not necessarily the crowdfunding total. We need 2.5 million total, and crowdfunding is just a part of that. So they kind of put a full update out, trying to who knows what will happen. Stay tuned. They extended the campaign by a week. And we're going to see what will happen as far as Altered, whether they have achieved enough pre-orders from stores and from the community that Altered will survive, or alternatively, whether it won't. And even then, they're kind of like, we will see what our options are if we can't hit those numbers. So, Altered, it needs a lot of money every set to keep running, and we'll have to find out whether it's going to continue and how. And then, in similar news, but a little different over here, we have Terra Mystica from Steamforge. They also have an active crowdfunding campaign. They got hit with a lot of day one complaints as far as the price point of things, expecting more than people are looking for. And this is a very insightful article. I highly recommend reading this. It's over on Board Game Wire. I highly recommend reading the article. Basically, Rich Loxham, CEO of Steamforge Games, talked to Board Game Wire, and he kind of goes through he kind of goes through he goes through a lot of things. He goes through the state of crowdfunding, the nature of the way people look at things. Is a very, very interesting read. I think it's very informative. It's very telling. I think it's very on point as to the nature of crowdfunding. To me, this article is not just about Terra Mystica and their price point. And I also did, by the way, they did cut prices as well. So if you bounced off the campaign day one, go check it out again because they did slash some prices. But it's a really, really well done article on the state of crowdfunding in general and the nature of backer expectations, managing crowdfunding, all of those things, and sometimes expectations for better or for worse. Sometimes backers, myself included, want things that are worse for the game, but it makes us feel better about getting those things. I just thought it was a really well done article by the CEO of Steamforged Games. That's what we have for our news, which means that it's time to dive into the videos of the week. Videos of the week, we have a bunch over here, as we usually do. We had upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for November. That went up on Sunday, just covering a bunch of the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for November. December is going to calm down. November still has a lot of big ones coming. So this is kind of the tail end of the year. We're going to see how crowdfunding does for this next month. It's still going to be a big month, and then December will be calm. Not to say nothing, but it'll certainly be calm, relatively speaking. Then we had 10 games I thought would never leave the collection, but then did. This is where I talked about Tigris and Euphrates, as well as why it left, and why I might get it back, as well as a few others that I could be tempted to getting back. Hopefully they don't also all announce deluxe editions coming this week. And then we had games leaving the collection on Friday. This is a games leaving the collection, a slightly different twist than this one. This is focused specifically on things that I have added to the collection over the past 6 months to 9 months, something like that, some of that range. I guess 3 to 9 months. Anything more recent that got added that I'm having second thoughts about. I'm really starting to get significantly more cutthroat about what stays in the collection because I really want to play the best of the best of the best. What was that? You okay there, Cal? You okay there? No, that's food. Sorry, I just got pause. Got a cat sitting on the light. There we go. You see the light change? You okay? You can't tell if he's gonna have a hairball moment. He doesn't really do hairballs, but he's being a little weird. Anyways, that was basically games leaving the collection. So past that, we go into the games of the week that I covered. The games of the week that we've covered on the channel. We had Vampire Lords, a preview and gameplay. I overall thought Vampire Lords, and this is sponsored content, I still give my thoughts when I played it. Vampire Lords I thought was very, very well done overall. The one thing I really didn't like, and it's kind of happened in the gameplay that we did on the channel, is that if you are being forced into a corner, you kind of could still just be a tool to other players. Meaning very often you're like, oh, well, I can't move the needle in my direction, but you know what I could do? Stuff that just hurts you. And I don't like when games do that. I like it when if my doing well happens to come at the cost of you not, sure. But it just felt like a little bit like a war of attrition at certain points. So overall, the game was very well done. Like the deck building, love the area control. Lots of things that are really well done in the game. The one thing I don't like in the game, which is a big deal in the way it's currently structured, is I don't like things that just have me being easily able to hurt you without a clear benefit for me. That's just not fun gameplay. Then we also had Legacy of Eastbrook Hills. I did a review as well as a sponsored gameplay. So reviews are not sponsored, but again, take them into account and all that because there was a sponsored gameplay. I really enjoyed it for what it was doing. It's not my go-to genre, but it is one of the better ones within the genre. I was very invested in the story of what was happening, and it felt like appropriately timed as far as the initial gameplay. Follow-up gameplays do range a little. Like one of the biggest challenges I have with it is that the initial gameplay coming in at an hour and a half was pretty solid, but some of the scenarios are closer to 3 to 4 hours, which some of you may love. That's a little too long for that kind of experience for me. But overall, I liked it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. It's one of the better games in that genre, while recognizing that that's not my go-to genre. Then we had Christmas games, Garland Games, Christmas bundles, a bunch of Christmas ornament stuff. I didn't play those. That Meg covered those. That was a preview, a sponsored preview. There was a sponsored preview for the Mix as well from Ruse Games, so you can check that out. Again, I didn't play it, so I don't have thoughts. We have Star Wars Unlimited, an unboxing of some new content, the Secrets of Power new set. Star Wars Unlimited is a game I enjoy, but I'm not as into it as I am Lorcana or Marvel Champions, but I do like it for now. Like, I still think it's pretty solid. Like, I know Dice Tower loves it. I just like it. I'm not in love with it yet, but I haven't played it. I don't think I've given it the kind of shot I would need to really love it. I will say, Lorcana, I only kind of briefly liked, and the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. But Star Wars Limited, I think I've not necessarily hit that critical point yet. And then we have Legend of the Seas, another preview. This is from Arcada Studios. They're the ones who did Spark Riders 3000, and if you look at Legend of the Seas, it definitely feels very similar in terms of that kind of game. And those are the videos we covered this past week, the games we covered this past week. Which brings us today. Today we're going to have a review for Enthroned, as well as a review for Take Time. While there's still sponsored content is a tricky balance. I usually like to have, like, only 2 videos a week sponsored, but the problem is with crowdfunding, it ebbs and flows. So while the average for the year generally is around 2 videos a week are sponsored, it ebbs and flows a lot, such that at sometimes you have like a month with you don't have a month, but you'll have like 2 or 3 weeks with not a single sponsored video. And then sometimes with this last dash of crowdfunding, it usually happens around this time. A lot of videos on the channel around this time are more sponsored because people are getting their last crowdfunding campaigns in before the end of the year. I say all that because thankfully we have 2 reviews going up today, not sponsored content. We have Enthroned and Take Time. Reviews for those will be going up. Next week we'll definitely have a mix of sponsored and not. Again, we're heading into slowdown period. So there are still things coming up this week. Speaking of videos coming up this week, I believe we'll have sponsored content for Bantam West as well as Restless, 2 upcoming crowdfunding campaigns. But we should have some reviews going up later this week as well as the ones going up on Saturday. Additionally, you should also have some. I'm doing some regular gameplays. I'm doing a gameplay of Storyfold. I'm slowly going through the campaign. I plan on filming the whole thing. Chapter 1 goes up Sunday. Not sponsored, just fun. And then also having ranking legacy games. Assuming the week goes as scheduled, I'll be doing a legacy game ranking based on the ones I've played so far. I can't remember if I've put Arcase in there. I only started, I'm a few games into Arcase, but I don't think I put Arcase in the list. But I'm only like 3 or 4 games into it. I need to play more Arcase. I need to play more a lot of things, but that is ranking legacy games going up. That brings us to the games on the table. Speaking of things I'll be playing, a bunch of these, actually, it's not intentional, but these are all crowdfunding campaigns. We have Everdell Emerald, which I've already played. I will be playing it again. You'll get my thoughts in a dedicated review video at some point. We have Hood, Troubles in Sherwood. Have not played it yet, but I just finished the rules today. I'm ready to go. It does look pretty straightforward. It doesn't look as complicated as Root, while being very Root adjacent in the asymmetric nature of the game. We have Escape from Mars, a solo adventure, well, solo or cooperative adventure that I will be diving into shortly. I think crowdfunding for this launched in December, if I'm not mistaken. And we have Gods Immortals, another crowdfunding campaign. This one actually, I believe, launches next year, but nonetheless, I will be diving into this one. I already played a half game on TTS, and now it's time to dive into the physical prototype. And that's basically it. Until next week, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.